What is up? Praise y'all, everybody. So I want to just kind of have like a quick 30-minute discussion. Don't want to spend too much time on here, but 6 more days till the launch of the MPC Sample. I'm excited about it, so maybe some of y'all are tired of hearing about it. But for those of you who are interested in it, this is a question that I have, but I'm going to do like a 2-part. So this is kind of questioning, looking at my workflow a little bit, and kind of speculating whether I can do this in, I do have sound, right? Yeah. Speculating whether my workflow will translate over to the MPC Sample, and if it, like, theoretically could replace my MPC Live. Now, I already know that it's going to replace, like, for going to work. Mic is low. Check, check, check. All right, we go. Is that a little louder? MPC Sample looks whack. All right. For sure. What are you doing here, then? What are you doing? Just here for the polarizing question, I guess. So, yeah. So I'm looking at it from kind of a slightly different perspective, not like a producer's perspective, but more of a songwriter's perspective. Because for me, what matters more is like good ideas and coming up with songs versus like perfect mixes. And my workflow is very simple, and what I do is very simple, where mixing doesn't matter too much, I think. But for me, like I said, ideas, like just coming up with good songs is more important than having perfect sound. Although, I mean, not to say I don't like a good quality sound, I do. But, hold on a second. Where is that? Okay. So, yeah. So that's the question. I'm looking at it from a perspective of someone who just wants to come up with ideas versus someone who wants to mix something. And the majority of people, I think, aren't mixing in standalone anyways, right? That's just kind of something that I do. And I really don't do much mixing other than just adjusting some levels. You know, as long as I have, like, if there's some sort of mother ducker inside the MPC Sample, I'm going to be happy because, you know, if I could have my bass and my drums kind of ducking my sample and all that, that's what I usually do. I just have it set up in a template, and, you know, there's enough room for the drums, for the kick drum to sit with the bass, or, you know, for the vocals to sit with the sample. That's usually all there is to it when it comes to like my songs. It's just 4 elements: is kicks, or excuse me, like a whole drum kit, a bass line, a sample, and vocals. So I don't think that's like way out of the question. The title may seem like way far out there for some people who are doing like some more complex stuff. But yeah, I'm not chasing after like placements. I don't know how many of you guys are beat makers, producers that are like trying to get into the industry and find placements. But for me, I just like making music. I like doing it here. My goal is never like really to seek a kind of placement or to get famous really or anything like that. You know what I mean? My goal is just kind of to do what I do, express myself, and I'm kind of this minimalist. So yeah, that's what I'm exploring. I'm gonna kind of go through and chop something and see if I can come up with something like I usually do in my workflow, and then like later next week sometime when I have the MPC Sample, actually explore it with the MPC Sample. But mainly this is just another discussion that I'd like to have with you guys because I'm excited about it finally dropping next week. If you guys want to put in the chat window how many of y'all plan on picking this up, it'd be cool to hear about. So I did real quick. I got to get more organized for streams and stuff because a lot of times I'm just like in that mode mentally where it's like I'm like, oh, it's futile. I'm not going to find some time, so I don't even plan nothing. Like I could have a little bit more planning, so I was just like kind of rushing to find myself a sample just now, and got this thing here. So some stuff I already done is I'm kind of curious if the MPC Sample will have these kinds of functionalities where you know, you're in the sample edit, you can go over here and go to from BPM and then count your beats and find your tempo. So I got everything like locked in. So yeah, it's locked into the tempo, and I've like pitched it up just to get a decent tempo that I like. So I'm not super concerned with time stretch. I know the MPC Sample, from the looks of it, like if you look at one of the pad functions underneath the pads, it has a warp function. So I'm hoping that there is a repitch, because that's a big part of what I do, is the repitch if I want to use breaks. I think using breaks is like a real cool way of coming up with ideas. Like I was actually with this last night, where I've been putting together this drum program with just a bunch of breaks in them, that everything is like beat sync to the tempo of your project, like that, so you can just kind of mess around with samples, ideas, and just putting different drum beats underneath it. So yeah, so hopefully repitch. There's warp, so I'm gonna assume they're gonna include that. I think that's a good assumption, that they wouldn't leave that out, the repitch functionality, especially since they're coming at rolling. And when they added the repitch functionality in MPC 3 point, I don't know, it was like 0.5 maybe. Before that, I was like, why doesn't the MPC have this? Because the way that the SP does it is really good, the BPM sync. Anyways, yeah, so this is how I basically start, you know, something, is with a sample, and I make sure I'm locked into my tempo, and then I'll start, you know, chopping. And yes, we go to chop. Okay, I got it up here. So this is actually how I assume the sample is gonna work, or at least it may be one way that it goes about doing things, because there's some speculation that the sample will only be one track, and not, if this was like a few years back, I'd be like, whoa, that's crazy. But if you've ever tried to make beats on the SP-404 Mark II, it's not that crazy. You start to realize, like, it actually, again, you said that workflow helped me realize that tracks are kind of redundant, and it made me shift the way that I create. And so this is kind of my new workflow in the MPC, regardless, where the most of the work I'm doing is on one track. Well, at the very least, my drums and my sampler are on one track, and that's the bulk of what I'm doing, right? And then I have a bass line for another track, and then my vocals on an audio track. So that's basically what I want to do. Now, I know, like I said earlier, I know that for just the basics of sample chopping, drums, bass lines, I'm good, because you can see it right on the surface. It's an MPC. You can chop samples, drum pads for drums. I'm gonna be cool with finger drumming. I do hope that this is an extra bonus. I do hope it has the round robin cycles layers on the samples. But besides that, the vocals thing, that's one thing. That's where the mystery's at. I don't know what kind of functionality or limitation it has for vocals. I don't know if it's gonna have any kind of audio track. Kind of doubtful that it does. So it's not impossible, because it is a sampler, and I could always record a vocal idea, put it on a pad, and trigger it manually. But I'm hoping that it goes beyond that, you know. So, like I said, the sample is most likely, without a doubt, going to take over the live's position in my bag when I go to work, because then at least I can just bring those ideas back and then record them in here. And so, but my bigger question, which is a wilder question, is, since I'm a minimalist, is will it take over the MPC Live fully and be my portable device and in my in-home studio? Just because I'm kind of like weird like that. I like to be minimalistic. So I'll get in the chat here in a second, but I just want to continue with the workflow and show you guys how I'm usually doing things on one. So let me get that looking good. Kind of got this set up already, because you guys ever, when you chop stuff, there's clicks and pops. So I'll just go a little bit on the attack and on the decay, and then it smooths out the chops. But 16 levels will activate the chops. Okay, so just trying to figure out a chop. I like this as an intro. That's a little weird. But yeah, this is the idea, right? And then got my drums down here. See? On the same track. Just hit overdub instead. Yeah, I don't like that chop though, so let's see what else. Yeah, just go. Let's just do that. Overdub. Let me turn these quantize off. I'm gonna get in the chat in a second though. I see you, DJ Rec. What's up? That's a little off. Alright, so basically, it's kind of sloppy and not what I'm feeling, but I'm just getting the point across. This is what I'm usually doing. And then let me get in the chat. Next comes the bass line, which I'll move over to another track. But I was experimenting with doing this all on one track, which can be done. So maybe I'll do that. But I'll pull up the chat for a second. Aaron Chandler, what's good? Chocolate Boy Swagger, thanks for the feedback on the mic. Hopefully it's good now. Ali Star, laughing out loud, bit better. Goofy speaker, yeah, that's kind of I think the corniest looking parts of it. It made it look cheap. Morning View, I think you're right about that. I mean, if it's a bad speaker, it's like almost why even put it on there. If it's anything like the Teenage Engineering speaker on the EP-133, it's like you could have just left that out. Would have looked a whole lot better. Could have probably maybe put a little bit more money into the build quality or something like that. Yeah, I feel you. John Lesson, what's up? Streetwax TV, it is battery powered. It's USB-C, rechargeable, and yeah, lithium Battery Power. Chocolate Boy Swagger says, finally got a hold of the Roland 404 last night, so the sample got to wait. Did you just pick one up, the Mark II? Is that what you're saying? It's not going to replace any other MPC. Well, see, that's why you guys got to understand, and I'm open to, yeah, I like to hear your perspectives, but I think everybody's kind of perspective is different. I don't know what the majority of people who that watch this channel are more about, like production, mixing versus songwriting. So for me, I think it's a little bit different. And I kind of started this channel more focused on the beat production side of things, but it was always kind of like a goal in the back of my mind to like get to writing songs, because that was like my first love. When I first started, when I was younger, like in high school, I would mess around with like writing lyrics and stuff. And when I was like 18, I probably made a couple songs, like recorded a couple songs, like on Cakewalk and stuff, and using FL Studio, or I forget exactly everything that I had back then. But yeah, I left it alone for decades, really. And just finally, like two and a half years ago, started finding out workflow, using the MPC to finally get songs completed. And so that's where I'm at, and that's most important to me. I even went to music production school and learned about mixing and being a mix engineer, recording engineer, but never with any kind of love or passion to want to be that. I always wanted I just wanted to go to it to make my stuff sound better. So that's just where it's at for me. So, all right. So it's not going to replace my other MPC. I don't think it's even multi-track. Morning View. Yeah, like I was saying too. John Lesson, I'm going to buy it looking to compare the MPC Sample to my TE for sure. Maybe I'll trade it for my 404. Yeah, maybe see what it does. Maybe wait though. That definitely seems like something to wait. With 404 day coming like a couple weeks after the release of this, who knows? They're historically, they come up with updates, big ones on 404 day. So I am kind of curious to see what drops on that day too. So it's an exciting, upcoming month time span here for these little portable beat making devices. Let's see. I'm sure it will be sample centric. All the pads can be used as buttons with shift press like other modern MPCs. For sure, that's cool. So it does show you that's a little bit deeper there when you see that. Like none of the other MPCs that are like the modern ones have any kind of functionality written under the pads. So yeah, it's definitely kind of reminiscent of going back to like when I was using the 500. But yeah, you're right. It's more vintage. I don't know if like the 60s and the 3000 that had the functionality under the pads like that, but definitely like the 1000 that I had in the 500. So let's see. I got a TE EP40 and sold it. One day later, the MPC lead comes up. I'll go all in with it. Cool. So 1991 K. So was that like your only other sampler, and you sold it? And yeah, I like the idea, man. That idea, you just saying that, man. It's just something about that, just like really is interesting to me. The minimalism thing, like going all in and just using one thing, just basic equipment, and I mean, I feel like for 90% of what I do, I already know that it's gonna be capable of it. But for that other 10%, if we're saying like the vocals is 10%, then that's a big question mark. SimCity, what's good? It won't replace it. Layback Sound says it won't replace it because the MPC sample is very basic, no synths, etc. But again, I don't need synths. Also, I mean, I still have. I use like an iPad in conjunction with the MPC for sampling. So like I'm sampling the sample that I got out here using samplet.io or YouTube mainly. And then this thing also has a bunch of synths on it. So I've been waiting to kind of use those instruments that are the virtual instruments on the iPad, which I don't really put to use because I just use what's in here. But basically, I mean, for what I do, again, sample, bass, drums, vocals, don't really need synths. And you can throw in a bunch of one-shots, but what I do is basically doesn't need that. So yeah, definitely a different perspective if you're like more on the production side, composing and just like doing really intricate, I guess. Not necessarily intricate, but more advanced production than what I do, then for sure. Sample sounds like Red Dwarf. What is that? DJ Rec was good again. Big Dog. Back as a previous Live 2 user now working on the 4.4 Mark II, the MPC sample is a must try for me. I like the smaller samplers. No doubt, man. It's cool to see you're excited about it. Me too. Chocolate Boy Swagger said yes. What was he saying yes to? Yes, you got your hands on it just recently. 4.4 Mark II, way better. How can we even say all that? I mean, oh yeah, DJ Rec. Well, DJ Rec said you got your hands on it at some point, huh? So, yeah. Okay, I'm looking to buy SP or MPC sample. Which one? For real, I would wait, man. But SimCity, you have MPC, so I'd probably just based off of that, I'd go for the sample. But maybe just wait to see what it has to offer. But just alone for the project import from the sample to the MPC, which is just, it is an assumption that it's going to work. I would say that alone, I would get the MPC sample over the 404, because if it's really just about like traveling and coming up with ideas and bringing it back and finishing them, then you have that advantage with the sample, right? So, but I think it's a good assumption. I wouldn't say like compatibility both ways. Like you're most likely going to be able to load in the MPC sample project in the MPC Live, for example, or the XL or the Live 3, but you won't be able to, load projects that you make in the XL or the Live 3 into the MPC sample, I would assume. Keep that 404. DJ Rec, samples a toy. Fletch, I was surprised the sample streams directly from the disc. Oh yeah, that was an interesting thing. That was kind of something that I was speculating. There was, I don't know if I can pull that up over here. I think it was on, let me see if I can find it on Reddit. But I mean, it's not too much of a difference. There's a diagram where there was some specs leaked and it had it said disc streaming. So it was a good guess that I was thinking that it was going to work that way, kind of the way the SP works or the TE. So very interesting. Yeah, I'm all right in MPC sample spec leaks. Some leak specifications of the MPC sample. I think it's right here. Yeah, okay. All right, sampler. Let's zoom in as much as we can. Sampler. I don't know where this is from. It's from Ensemble Music Center. Looks like it might be a Japanese or I don't know, maybe a Japanese store. Please note, this document is not for public distribution and under embargo until further notice. Whoops. Whoops. Okay. All right, here we go. So this is what you were talking about. If you look at this right here to the right, it says internal, we're under the sample record button, right? It says internal disc streaming sample engine. So yeah, pretty cool. Pretty cool. This thing is just gonna cater to quicker workflow for me. That's why I'm even asking this question. Like I think on a lot of levels, I'm gonna like this more so than my Live. For deeper stuff like, editing samples, mixing down, most likely recording vocals, sadly, this is gonna be preferable, I would assume, or any of these other MPCs. But for like easy idea generation, quick workflow, they're implementing the disc streaming. So disc streaming is something that we have in these MPCs, but I don't in like the Live and all the other ones, but I don't think it's implemented in a cool way. It's good, which only really matters if you have these 2 GB ones, I think, at this point, because you can go in, how is it again? You go to browser and the sample assign, and then you click and hold. I think it was like this. I'm not seeing it. Huh. Well, I don't know. I forget how well I even bothered. Maybe it's switched since then. But that's what I remember. I thought it was in the sample assign to pool. where you could click and hold and then assign it to disc streaming. But maybe there's a different process. I never really bothered with it because I found it tedious. That if you wanted to stream anything, you would have to just go in and do every single sample individually, which is good if you're trying to free up some stuff. But like workflow wise, it's not really that. It's not implemented in a useful way. But if they're applying that, into this where you don't even got to think about it, that's really cool, and is going to like cater to like a smoother workflow and quicker ideas. I need small machines to traverse beats seamlessly for live play to play the music made on the machines. You can port around. Yeah, I see. So I guess that's one way you go about it. But that sounds kind of like what people do with the 404, where you just, you have a whole track bounce and then you go put it on a pad. So this sounds like maybe it'll work that way, just like the SP, where you can put a whole song on a pad and there shouldn't be no problem. Sounds good. I mean, I think that the EP-133 also streams everything. That's why it's like very quick to like load up samples to the pads. Everything is streamed. You're not really loading. You're just like moving through the sounds that are existing in the machine. But that has the limitation of 20 seconds per pad, which sucks. So hopefully this is not that. EP40 and sample together will be awesome, I think. Yeah, I can't really get down with the thought of putting, I don't know why, I'm just weird like that. It's almost like a crutch, like, I don't know, putting two machines together like that. Or two samplers. It's just a weird thought to me. I don't know why. I'm weird. Next Tuesday. Yes, sir. Big Dog back. What's up, man? The 303 and 404 vinyl sim and compressor on a 404 unmatched, in my opinion. Air flavor doesn't compare. You don't like air flavor? I mean, yeah, there's, you can't compare them in certain ways. You're going to get, it's a cool sound and there's not much to it. You got like 3 parameters. But when it comes to Air Flavor Pro, you have a lot more flexibility of the parameters, which is cool. And there's a lot of presets that you can like kind of go off of. So there's a lot more you can do. So in that way too, it's not comparable because there's a lot more you can do with Air Flavor. But if you like, for some reason you like the sound of Air Flavor or the simplicity of it, that's cool. I wish Air Flavor Pro had more like vinyl sound noise, like even like the vinyl sim inside the SP doesn't give you much of an option. It's just one sound, but it would be cool if there was like different vinyl tone, like vinyl sound tones in there. You know what I mean? It's just like one noise, one vinyl crackle kind of thing. But I could see the MPC sample kind of emulating, like taking the free Air Flavor plugin and putting it into the MPC sample and having control of like 3 of the parameters. Like the SP does. 91K, rolling with you. I want one simple portable device with a good workflow and be done. For everything else, there is Logic on my computer. Yeah, that's kind of my thought process too. Like, if it doesn't really have everything that I want that the Live has, I don't know if I'll go this far as to sell the Live, but I have thought about that because I've got an iPad with Logic Pro on it that I've been paying for, like the $4.99, and I haven't like gotten into using it. But Logic was my old love back on the computer when I was using the MacBook before I got back down to just using MPC standalone. So that could be a cool pairing, and just doing vocals on Logic. But I don't know if I'll do that. I've it's not good to fix things that ain't broken, and I've gotten a pretty good system of writing songs and finishing them in the MPC Live. So yeah. Ultimately, most likely what's going to happen is MPC Sample my portable device for song idea generation, and then bringing it home, and then like MPC Live is my DAW. Anti-war here. What's good? Oh, right on, man. Thanks for pulling up. Dan Cron, how you doing? So yeah, that's the end. I actually made it the wait. No, I didn't. I got a couple more. Lord, I reckon what's good. I'm wondering what updates. 91 says, what updates there will be for the EP-40. Promo video said big things are coming. Oh, really? I've missed that. I don't have the EP-40 though, so we'll see. What I reckon. 38 watching, 12 likes. Hit the like button. I appreciate that. Look at the moon. What's up? Just got the 404 Mark II and already got the hang of it, being that it's my first hardware sampler. It doesn't really come off too complex, but now the sampler about to drop. Wow, man, that's kind of a first for someone that you know, who's never used a hardware sampler. I don't, even people that have. Maybe it's even more difficult when you're used to other hardware samplers, the approach on the SP. But that's cool to hear. It's kind of different. But yeah, man, this is coming out soon. How long ago did you get the 404 Mark II? Shugito, what's good, man? It's been a minute. Here we go again. How do you think will the ALS compatibility work? Is that Ableton Live? To make full range on the MP sample and then bring them over to Live 3? Yeah, I think so. I don't know what you meant by ALS. Is that, did you just meant like compatibility with the lives, or I don't know why I thought Ableton Live. But yeah, as far as the compatibility, yeah, I think you can. I think you're gonna be able to do arrangements, because if you look at the pads on the MPC sample, there is a song mode. So shift plus one of the pads will get you to song mode. So you could do some arrangement in this. Yeah, I believe so. I just don't think you'll be able to go backwards. You won't be able to go to live to the sample and open your projects. That's my assumption. That's how it's been for a minute. Like you could right now at this time, you can go probably do a project in your MPC 2000 maybe and load it in the live or the Live 3. I think you'd be good. But obviously you make some changes in that, you can't go back. MPC sample is a no-go for me if it's a one-track sequencer. Really? Why is that? I guess maybe you just haven't explored that type of workflow, man. See, this is what I'm doing so far right now. Maybe I should get into it a little bit to kind of like demystify what that might be like. So since I've had the 404, I've really explored this in this way, doing this. So you see I got drums and the sample on here. Okay, well, I am hoping that there's like an easy scale detect like there is on these MPCs. If there's not, it's all right. I get by it with the SP. There's a cool way of going about it. I just do it by ear. But oh, this is D major or what? D, C major, D major. But I'll go over to my bass track. This is how I usually go about it. So already on the 2 tracks, but I could take this sample and like put it somewhere on here. What's going on here? Okay. Just say, let's put the bass note here. That's a bug still, but that's not. I think there's a bug still with this. Or it was reintroduced. See, this should be, it's on note on right now. It's not playing. Or it could just be my program. Something up with my program. So anyways. Okay, so was it D? actual headphones on. Come on. So usually, like, I just loaded up a plugin to figure out my, I'll usually figure out my bass line with a higher pitch sample, just easier that way. But if I was doing this, like, say on one track, I just load up this kind of a sample, one shot, and do it this way rather than a new track. But my tracks are acting up right now with that for some reason. No on is not working. Really sloppy right now. Look, this is not. Okay. Yeah, but pretty much. So if I was gonna do it on this track, for example, on the same track, you got 16 levels, and I don't know if y'all knew this, but you do have scales now. So I could change it to major. Let me just cut this sample down. Anyways, just ignore that pop and click. So you could just turn the 16 levels, tune on, put the scale, but then you got to go and then change your key here manually. So if it was a D, I'll just pitch it twice, 2 semitones. Turn that back on. So you get the idea there. So I gotta see. I was trying to Well, I never actually went and reported this as a bug, but it seemed like it was a bug. So I think it might just be, it might have something to do with my actual template. Because sometimes when I make these templates and from like previous firmwares and then like upgrade for some reason, that functionality, the note on, note off versus one shot, doesn't seem to work. So Chapo, what's up? The sample format is totally different from the Gen 1 2. Is Akai banning this format because of the complexity of bugs, upgradable memory, red blue pill? I don't know. I don't know if they're abandoning anything. I don't think they are. I think they're just providing an alternative and like hitting another market to compete with some of these other smaller devices. Look at the moon. I'm quick with learning hands-on. I got it last week. OS. I'm curious what the export options will be. Hopefully you can multi-track out over USB-C. You think you'll definitely be able to do multi-track over USB? I'm not sure. Maybe they might limit that. I don't know. That would be cool. Definitely be cool if they provide that compatibility over USB into the MPCs. So if you could like use that as a, say you had like an MPC Live 3 and like plug the MPC sample into USB and be able to track out 16 tracks, audio tracks, into the Live 3. DJ Double Edge, what's good? What's comparison device for the sample? Yeah, I guess the SP44 and the TE EP-133. I think those are the closest things to compare it to. Would be a crime if not. That's another thing. How many bugs is the sample OS going to have? Who knows? Hopefully none. MPC OS is always super buggy. What kind of things are y'all doing that? Yeah, but I mean, I guess just something simple like this. Apparently there was an update, I think, recently, like 3.7.1. Maybe it'll solve a bunch of things. I did see some posts saying that some bugs were solved with this. And then first I seen it was Sample Kings. I think he has a video on it. Blippo Cat, what's up? It's a common bug. Is that the one I'm talking about? They just fixed the freezing I was telling you about. Patterns will be sequences, by the way. How do you know this? And do you mean like I'm just assuming that it's kind of gonna work in the same way as the SP44. So that's what I'm hearing when you say patterns will be sequences, because that's how it works on the SP, where every pattern is a sequence which contains all your sounds. You know, you won't have individual track for your kicks, for your drum kit and your samples or your bass line. That's how the SP works. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I don't know if I want to even try to do vocals here, but at this point, say I had the bass line down, I was kind of struggling there. That's it. Like, put a vocal down. So this is the biggest question for me: is will it have an audio track, which I doubt. More likelihood is it might have a looper, as like the SP has a looper. And once again, I think the SP is like the best comparison. And I mean, it's just kind of obvious, right? Like it's TE. Like this very much looks like the TE. And visually, the layout, the EP-133. I heard someone even say they're trolling with like the orange buttons. But the slider, I mean, of course, the TE is probably inspired by the original MPCs, but so this is just kind of like a response, I think. And the fact that it's sitting like right in between at $399, while the TE is $299, SP is $499. So I'm saying, like, I think there's a higher chance there might be a looper in this, than an audio track. But if I can get one audio track, that would be amazing, But if not, a looper, that'd be great. Just some way to get external audio whether you're like a guitarist or bass player or whatever, vocalist, that you can get those little loops, those little ideas that to sink in with your sequences, your patterns, without having to necessarily put it on a pad. That's not the biggest problem, because that's how you do it on the SP. But the SP with the resampling, at least you can get the resampling to trigger right when the pattern triggers. So you don't have to like manually time when you press in. Like, say I got a vocal and I'm like da 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 da, you know, I don't have to trim it to the da da da. It has the empty silence at the intro and it just syncs up. So that's my biggest question. That would really determine whether it could even answer this wild ass question of, will it replace my MPC Live? Like I said, for the most part, I think the scenario is going to be, this is going to be my DAW, at least at home. And the MPC Sample will be my song idea machine at work. So I'm about to wrap this up. Let me just finish up the chat window and then get off of here. Guessing, but I don't see a track button. Yeah, me neither. I didn't see a track button. I seen that brought up as well. The sequence would be like the P-033. I don't remember what the P-033 is like. So, but like we're saying, I think the sequencer, if anything, will probably be a lot like the Roland SP sequencer. And yeah, it looks like the 60 for sure. That's what they modeled it off as. Has a little tilt in the black trim around the screen and all that. Yeah, going to Guitar Center early Tuesday. So DJ Breck, with everything that you said and you know about it, you do still plan on getting one or even two? I bought that K.O.II. What a laugh my kid gave me. Why is that? You gave it to your kid? Hero says, I keep running into a bug in sample edit. When I'm in a single slice, sample edit says all. I have to switch the sample and return to unlock it. I think that was one of the bug things I seen someone say that this new update fixed. So maybe go look into that. Go on Facebook. I think that's usually where I see the information. I saw it earlier. Update 3.7. Let me see. Online update. Okay, I don't have mine connected to the internet. That's why it hasn't told me about anything. And then, an error contacting the server. So I'll do this later. But yeah, I think that was the main thing that I seen. I wasn't even looking into it because I'm like, oh, I'm trying not to rush into updates, especially the point updates. If I don't have any issues, why update? But if you do, go see what are some of those some bugs that they have addressed. No, I mean, how long ago did you get it? Look at the moon. How long did you get the 404 to? Because if it's not that long ago, it's not too late probably to return it, but give yourself some time to see what the MPC sample can do. And you said that's your first hardware sampler or what? Or was that someone else? But yeah, man, I would wait and, like till mid-April. I mean, the intro April will see what kind of update the 4.4 has. I'm hoping if the 4.4 doesn't have the things that I've been wanting, like I made a nice little comment on their 4.4 update video 5.0 update video last year, where they had Serato integration, and I was like, yo, this needs this, this, and this. Like, let me see if I can even find that and pull it up. Let's see. So, yeah, 4.4 day, most likely an update. Who knows what it's going to bring? Maybe just another integration with another piece of software, maybe like Ableton integration. The coolest update was update 4.0 was they did koala integration, which was really cool. A lot of people were happy about, but they did a bunch of other things too. Like being able to name samples was like one of the biggest things for me. But yeah, here's this video. Let's see if yeah, so here's my comment, and they got 17 upvotes for what I was saying. So I wrote, definitely not the update I was hoping for. There are some very basic things you guys are overlooking. Copy pad should include mute group information. Chop should export with mute group info automatically. Actually completely overhaul the chopping if possible. Look at this on like where Lo-Fi 12XT non-destructive chop points are activated when chromatic mode is active. And with the remain button, switching between polyphonic to monophonic would negate the need to put the individual chops in a mute group. Theoretically, you could have 16 samples on each bank with 16 chop points, or maybe up to 24 with the 2 octaves of chromatic mode. Speaking of chromatic mode, 2 octaves still. That's all I hope for now. But since then, I've, you know, hoped for some couple other things like, you know, pad layers and you know, round robins, and there might have been some other things, but that's like the main thing, I think. But who knows what they're gonna add. I think with 4.0 they also added the loopers. That was really cool. There was a lot of good stuff that came with that, and then so that's why update 5.0 was just the Serato implementation, which was kind of a letdown. So maybe something cooler this year. So I would wait to see what it has to offer, and then just like kind of compare that to what the MPC Sample has to offer. Be jamming, what's good? It didn't fix it. I updated yesterday. Oh, okay. Downloaded a new update, but haven't noticed anything different. So yeah, I think with these point updates, you're just looking at bug fixes mainly. Still getting the bug. That's a shame. Yeah, there's probably release notes on it. 4.4 Mark II is special, but I would grab the MPC Sample too if you can. They both have great features. 4.4 can serve as audio interface too. Yeah, I really hope that Roland does something special as well, man. Quick Strike 29, man, what's up, man? I think from what I'm seeing so far, it will be a good companion to the MPC family, no doubt. No ego, what's happening? Oh yeah, this streaming. Yeah, I was we talked about that. I had left a comment on your video about this streaming. So this is actually going to be probably the preferable way that it works, where you don't really got to think about it, you know. So versus trying to, I don't know if you even mess with that. Did anyone even mess with the disc streaming after we finally got it? Yeah. So my whole mindset and workflow process has changed since I wanted that, and things have changed in the MPC ecosystem where it doesn't matter. Like they're selling you plugins and higher RAMs and all that. But yeah, I wanted it back in the day so you can do key groups a lot better. If you switch to MIDI B, it has more octaves. You're talking about, not talking about chromatic mode though. I think you're talking about having access to all the pad banks from a keyboard. So you could access all your samples. That's not the same as chromatic mode. Or are you talking about something I'm completely unaware of? But I do remember MIDI B mode. So like MIDI A mode, like pad bank A would be on channel 1, pad bank B on channel 2, and etc. up to all the 10 banks, I believe. So 10 tracks, and then chromatic mode actually plays on channel 16. So that's separate. But if you put it on B, you can access all the pad banks on one set of keys, just going through the different octaves. I like that the new MPC seems to be less touchscreen centered, maybe closer to the originals. For sure. I think that little leak actually said it's a 2.4 inch full color display, so it's pretty small. .4. See, so I'm excited about this. Like I said a few streams back, man, I was thinking this isn't the mini MPC I was asking for at this time. You know, mine's changed. Like I really want one of these miniature with a touchscreen, and I was like maybe a 5-inch touchscreen. You know, imagine a 5-inch touchscreen and then the mini pads just made a bit smaller. That would be ideal. But yeah, this is something else, and it might actually turn out being more of what I was looking for, and why I love my SP so much. Just song idea. I think that's what this is catering to. I hope that it delivers in that with some of the things, just hands-on control of everything. Everything's like a button press away or a shift button press away, and then now the internal disc streaming. See how that works. Yeah, no doubt it. Look at the moon for sure. Just hold on a little bit and wait it out and see what they have to offer from both Roland and Akai. Yeah, I still don't have my 4.4 in my possession at this moment. I don't ever see anyone using the Roland 4.4 on live streams or any recent videos out. Yeah, it's because I don't have mine, man. I was always doing those streams, but it just seems like it's less of a device that people. There's people that do it. They're just smaller channels, I think, but it's less of a device that people use to make beats versus use for like live performance, I think. So very small rumors of a 4 Mark III. Where have you seen these rumors, man? Because if they drop that, oh my, like my dreams of being a minimalist are just like crushed every year, every few months. It's like there's always something, you know. That'd be wild. Be jamming too. Like if they came out with the 4.4 Mark III with the touchscreen, and here goes Akai with the non-touchscreen. That's just be hilarious. Oh, I have no idea about the battery before it gives out, man. Yeah, I hear people bring that up a lot, man. I've got a live right here from 2017, right? And that battery's fine. It's good. Just make sure you're cycling it, you know what I mean? Like just not using it while it's charging, or once it's charged, just unplug it. I think that's kind of the protocol with all these built-in batteries, no matter what. Not worth much, but I can't help thinking there's MPC competition the week after. Yeah, man. I mean, I kind of, that'd be cool to see if there was a Mark III. Are you just like speculating, or are there any hints of it? I mean, that's kind of cool, but I just hope they come with an update that's cool. Cause I already got a Mark II. I don't need more gas. Because if they have a Mark III coming out and it hits all the stuff that the Mark II doesn't, I just don't think they're gonna do that, man. Especially with how small their team is, unless they've decided to go, all in and expand the team that works on it. Because from what I heard, they have a two-person team that works on the updates. But maybe that's different from the people that worked on the hardware. But anyways, I don't think there'd be any hesitation for me to buy a 404 Mark III. Yeah, look into that MIDI B, bro, but I don't think it's what you think it is. It's not chromatic mode, because chromatic mode works exclusively on channel 16. I've never followed an MPC release before. How fast do they usually sell it online? Ooh, they've been selling out pretty quick, man. Pretty quick. The Live 3. I don't know about the XL, but I mainly keep track of Zounds, and I don't know if Zounds keeps a large stock of them. But they always, there's always like a. I think if you get in there within the first couple weeks or month, maybe you'll be all right. But I don't know. The Live sold out pretty quick. I think the Live sold out within the first week. The Live 3. I'm curious to see how projects will migrate between full MPC and the sample. Yeah, some compatibility. I don't know if you're just dropping in, but I keep saying I think you'll be able to load the projects in the larger MPCs, but not backwards, With a 2-inch screen, sounds like rolling is trolling. Like, Hold on a second. With a 2-inch screen sounds like Roland. Is that Roland is trolling the retro beat makers? If they dropped the 404 Mark III, I'm broken. Yeah, man. Imagine it's what you've been waiting on. A touchscreen. The Roland Mark III will be as big as the Live 3. I think they'd come out with something else before that, like the MV or something, with a touchscreen, like the MV 8800 successor. 2.4-inch screen isn't bad at all for a non-touchscreen device. Mark II been out almost 4.5 years. Who knows? They might drop something. Unfortunately, no Mark III is coming ever. Yeah, I mean, the difference between how long was it? Like at least 10 years before they came out with a Mark II. It's a 2-man team at Roland that worked on the Mark II. With some of the major updates to the Mark II and how big of an upgrade the Mark II is from the previous models, I'd be surprised if they have a new one soon. Yeah, I don't know, man. Just hope for a good update. See, I mean that's what's kind of cool about it, and it's kind of slipped my mind when it came to like wanting an MPC Mini. Is I appreciate the simplicity of the Mark II. Some people will say simplicity. I mean that shit's complex with all the button combos and all that, but as far as like doing the basic stuff on it, I think it's an enjoyable thing, like sampling and just putting ideas together. But if they could do some like improved time stretching, maybe, and improved chopping, put non-destructive chopping on there, I think I'd be happy with just that. No, I don't think it's two guys that made the TR-1000. I think specifically for the group that made that's working on the Mark II. Roland would be wise just to update the Mark II right now, make it better with more effects and bus effects, and improve sampling. Do you mean like rush ahead of like dropping before the MPC sample drops? I think that shows the intelligence of Akai in dropping the sample on the 24th, a couple weeks ahead of 404 day, because I mean that's a pretty obvious pattern if you're nerdy enough to pay attention to what Roland does. Lord, I reckon. So Tuesday we should be able to walk into Guitar Center or other music stores and pick up the MPC. Trying to see if I need to order online if the local store is playing around. Yeah, I think so. The 555 Mark II. I never got a chance to use that. Sesh Beats, what's good? Thank you. I appreciate it, man. Hope you've been well as well. Yeah, I'm about to wrap this up and head off. I'm also hoping for a new update. The 4.4 Mark II is really well designed to be able to do as much as it can while sticking to the original form. Right. Art Hayes, what's up? Is the title a joke? No, man, you had to be in here from the beginning. I guess it's polarizing because it just depends on your perspective. Like I'm a songwriter, bro, so I don't know what how you define yourself as a music creator, producer, beat maker. But for me, the main thing I'll say is that I said earlier, to me, what's most important is good ideas in songwriting versus, great mixing and all that. So if I can do 90% of what I can do here, then that's just the question. I want to just be able to come up with ideas, song ideas. And the way that I work is very simple. It comes down to like basically 4 different things, a sample, chop, drums, bass line, and vocals. So yeah, like I'm serious, but it is a stretch of a question for sure. Yeah, that's kind of how it is over at my Guitar Center. But they finally got some MPCs over there, party. So they've got 2 XLs that they're still up on the top shelf. I don't think they sold any. But they're the kind of place that probably they wouldn't put them on display. Like I even asked them, they're like, "No, those aren't going on display." They did temporarily had an MPC Key-61 on display for a while, but funnily enough, it was still on like 2.15 versus 3 point something. B-Jam, you know how many your Guitar Center has in stock already? How do you get that info? I'm about to go ask them too. Is the 4.4 Mark II screen about the same size? Yeah, but hey, man, it's been a good little talk. Thanks for coming around. I appreciate y'all having this conversation with me. Um, man, it's coming up quick, so I'll probably drop off of here. You won't probably see me till next week. Being that it's like Wednesday. Who knows? I might get another stream in, but for now, I got some other things I should probably prioritize. Work on some songs so I don't get too sidetracked on the gas, because the gas can come at any time, and there's always something coming out. Just hints of a Mark III, Ali Star saying. I mean, I kind of don't even want to entertain that. So, but shoot, man. So, yeah. Here it is. Thanks for the kick it, chill out session, fellas. I'll see you on the next one. Y'all, peace to you. Have a good day.